A cold front came through the area today with some showers, and we have cooler temperatures on the way. Just how cold will the mercury be Thursday morning, and when can you expect more fall-like rain?
The future of the city of Fitchburg's dispatch is uncertain. To look ahead at a common council vote that could get rid of the service. In 4 days until the Packers opener, Jason Wilde joins us with an update on Jordan Love after the quarterback's left thumb surgery last month. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. And thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke. Susan Simon is off tonight. And get ready to bundle up tonight. Temperatures are expected to be a little chilly out there. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington on the weather patio with how cool it'll get, Alex.
Yeah, Eric, no sweating out here in the patio at all because temperatures are pretty cool outside right now. We'll show you those temperatures across southern Wisconsin in just a bit. Look at how cold we're going to be as we move into Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. 42 in Madison, 40 in Camp Douglas, 42 in Janesville, and the warm spot is going to be 45 in Platteville. So kiddos and folks heading off to work and school tomorrow, you're going to need that jacket as we go into Thursday morning. So a cool start, and all we're going to do is the lower 60s for highs on Thursday. Average highs are still near 80 degrees. Feels like summer was just this thing of the past with our cold temperatures that we're going to experience over the next couple of days. Right now it's 64 in Madison. Again, remember, average high is near 80. We're way below that. 65 in Bosqueville, 66 in Platteville, and 61, that's the cool spot up near the Dells. Radar 3000 shows those showers we had earlier today exiting out of the area. No more rain expected today going into tonight, but good chances for rain as we go into Thursday night and the very early part of Friday. We're going to track that weather system and more when you see me in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. Madison police are looking for a driver involved in a hit-and-run incident involving a motorcyclist. Now, the crash happened Sunday afternoon on the westbound Beltline at Gammon Road. According to investigators, the motorcycle hit the back of a vehicle on the Beltline, throwing the motorcyclist off. The driver of the vehicle, they say, briefly stepped out of their car before fleeing the scene before police could arrive. The motorcyclist is in stable condition. And in Richland County, a motorcyclist is critical condition after being found unresponsive in a ditch. This was Saturday. Deputies responded to calls of a disabled motorist near US 14 at Eden Valley Lane, and there they found a 41-year-old man lying in a ditch. Life-saving measures were taken before MedFlight took him to a Madison hospital. The investigation there is ongoing. The Milwaukee County judge accused of helping a man evade arrest by U.S. immigration agents will stand trial in December. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested back in April and indicted on federal charges in May. Judge Dugan argued the charges should be dismissed, saying she was acting in her official capacity as a judge. But last week, a federal judge rejected that argument. Judge Dugan's trial will begin on December 15th. Wisconsin's Department of Workforce Development is giving out nearly $1 million in grants to 19 school districts across Wisconsin. Of those, 3 of them are here in southern Wisconsin. The Lake Mills District in Jefferson County will get more than $5,000. They'll use that money to buy some welding equipment to support the metals manufacturing facility there. In Columbia County, the Portage Community School District is getting $100,000 to upgrade equipment in its technical education department. And finally, in Rock County, the Beloit School District is also getting $100,000 for upgrading to its welding program. And as students go back to school, scammers are capitalizing on opportunities where personal data is not closely guarded. According to the FTC, about 2% of U.S. identity theft reports in 2025 so far have involved children under 19. And just like adults, kids are at risk when data breaches compromise things like social security numbers or medical information. The nonprofit Identity Theft Resource Center says many cases of child ID theft go undetected for years.
One of the reasons that children's identities are so appealing to the bad actors is because kids don't engage in the world the same way adults do.
The FTC says if a child is under the age of 16, request a free credit freeze to make it more difficult for someone to open new accounts in their name. And parents who believe their child's information has been compromised should check if their child has a credit report, since it's uncommon under the age of 16, and that could be a red flag for fraud. New data suggests the labor market is slowing down. At the end of July, the number of available jobs across the country fell to an estimated 7.18 million, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's down about 180,000 positions from June. A FactSet analysis finds economists were forecasting only a slight dip in available jobs from June to July. The number of open jobs nationwide is now at its lowest level since September of last year. The green and gold set to put the pads on today for practice ahead of their regular season opener on Sunday. Jordan Love is getting closer to being fully healed. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde with more on the Packers star quarterback's recovery.
The Packers beginning their preparations for Sunday's regular season opener against the Detroit Lions here at Lambeau Field and here on Channel 3 today with an in-pads practice at Clark Hinkle Field. And the best sign yet that Jordan Love is getting closer and closer to being himself again, while he's still wearing that brace to protect the surgically repaired ligament in his left thumb, his non-throwing hand. He said he is at a point now where that is simply protective and that he can even do handoffs with his left hand, which he had not been doing in practice for the last couple of weeks. So an encouraging sign that the Packers quarterback will be himself, although a little bit of protection involved on that hand for Sunday's game. We'll have all the coverage of everything going on here at Lambeau Field today and throughout the week, leading into Sunday's opener on channel3000.com for free. And make sure while you're there, you sign up for our newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day. That's it from here at Lambeau Field. Back to you in the studio.
Jason, thank you. And don't forget, you can watch the Packers this Sunday right here on News 3 Now as they start the season in Green Bay against the Detroit Lions. Kickoff for that game set for 3:25. Sports betting is a booming industry, and while experts say it can be a fun fall hobby, gambling can also turn into a severe issue. The National Council on Problem Gambling defines the addiction as gambling behavior that's damaging to a person or their family, often disrupting their daily life and career. The organization says warning signs include feeling the need to bet more money more often and trying to win money back. In extreme cases, it can cause bankruptcy, legal problems, and suicidal thoughts.
And the right mindset comes down to knowing the odds, understanding the game, and most importantly, keeping it social.
If you or a loved one struggles with gambling, there is help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER for the National Problem Gambling Hotline. You can also find resources on the organization's website, including a gambling behavior self-assessment. That's at ncpgambling.org. A common ingredient found in gel nail polish has been banned in Europe over serious health concerns. The chemical called TPO can affect hormone levels, causing endometriosis or infertility. The U.S. has not banned TPO, but some salon owners are already moving away from chemicals they believe could pose risks.
If your next nail appointment is this week and there's no suitable alternatives, it's okay. I wouldn't stress too much, but just long term, if this is something that someone's doing every 2 weeks or on a somewhat regular basis, it does have a cumulative effect.
Federal agencies like the FDA recommend that consumers read labels and follow any warnings on nail products. They add to always make sure there's good ventilation when using those products. Unity Point Health Meritor has concluded its national search for a new chief medical officer. Dr. Karen Baum has accepted the position. Dr. Baum was serving as Essentia Health's chief transformation officer. Meritor's market president says he is confident that Baum's leadership will guide the organization into a bright future. Well, in the near future, the next time you call 911 in the city of Fitchburg, dispatch may not be coming from the city, but rather Dane County. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks spoke with the city's police chief on why that is.
Changes may be on the way for the city of Fitchburg and their police dispatch. I had the chance to speak with the city's police chief on what those changes may be. The city of Fitchburg is one of the fastest growing cities in the Madison metro. The population growing by over 10,000 residents since 2013. And that growth has put a strain on the city's 911 dispatch center.
And that was often the problem. To communicate via dispatch, the police department runs 24/7, 365 days a year. So running dispatch services through the city of Fitchburg was a challenge in itself, and being able to manage that 24/7.
In the next city council meeting, Fitchburg Common Council will vote on whether or not to eliminate the city's dispatch center, shifting the job to the county, who's already been helping with the city's 4 full-time dispatchers.
The county dispatch services has the capacity to do this. That's been an area that we've been unable to fund or fully staff for several years. So utilizing them more on a full-time basis can easily be accommodated by the county.
If passed, the change will take effect sometime in October. Fitchburg Common Council will vote on these changes next Tuesday, September 9th. For now, reporting in Fitchburg, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. And ahead at 5, members of Congress honor the service of an historic African-American infantry regiment. And a new bill would expand President Trump's ability to take over the police force in Washington, D.C. This as the president prepares to deploy National Guard troops to other cities across the country. And many Americans are out buying lottery tickets today. The massive jackpot waiting for one lucky player. And on Wall Street, mixed numbers in midweek trading as the Dow falls more than 24.5 points. The Nasdaq's in gains, up 218. The S&P 500 up almost 33. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
President Trump is expanding his list of cities he claims are crime-ridden. This comes as lawmakers look to extend the presence of National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. Torian Small has more details from the White House.
President Trump says he's preparing to launch National Guard troops to help combat crime in yet another Democratic-led city.
We're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C.
The president is already deployed to D.C. and has threatened other cities, including Baltimore and Chicago.
We could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us.
If this president wants to help us reduce crime, we'll work with him. But this notion that he is going to invade Chicago, put military checkpoints in that city, for God's sake, that's just an outrage.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the president is playing politics.
He's ignoring states with Republican leadership where crime is even worse. Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas. I mean, I go through the long list of them.
Congress is now working on legislation that would extend the president's order federalizing the D.C. police force through the end of the year.
Ultimately, the responsibility should be at the mayor and city council level. But if they're not going to do the job, particularly in the nation's capital, we will.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said the takeover does not need to go beyond the original 30-day timeline.
We have a framework to request or use federal resources in our city. We don't need a presidential emergency.
Bowser announced a 13% pay hike for Metropolitan Police in order to recruit more officers. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell gathered on Capitol Hill to push for all of the Epstein files to be released. House Democrats, along with a handful of Republicans, are supporting the effort. That includes Marjorie Taylor Greene. But President Trump is calling the push for more information a Democratic hoax.
Thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
The House Oversight Committee, which had subpoenaed the DOJ for Epstein records, released more than 33,000 pages that it has obtained so far. But lawmakers say it was just a fraction of what's in the files, and most of the pages had already been made public. A congressional gold medal ceremony for the Harlem Hellfighters took place in Washington today. The legendary group was an African-American regiment who fought during World War I. They spent 191 days on the front lines in the trenches, suffering more casualties than any other American regiment. About 1,500 were killed, wounded, or missing in action. More than a century after that sacrifice, the Hellfighters' family members joined lawmakers for the presentation of the Congressional Gold Medal.
Today we honor the legacy of your fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers who served our nation under extreme circumstances and despite intense discrimination.
I know that my grandfather and the other brave men that fought alongside him never thought that their courage and their exploits would be celebrated in such a revered setting.
The Hellfighters Gold Medal was signed into law by President Biden in 2021. The newly minted medal was unveiled at the ceremony. Well, in southern Wisconsin, get ready for a chilly night. Alex, when will the warm weather be coming back to our area?
Yeah, first to let you know, we got a big mountain to climb here. Our temperatures on Thursday, 63, then down to 60 on Friday. And like I said, we're going to really have to slowly work our climb up the mountain here, back up to normal conditions, normal temperatures by the time we get a little bit later in the 10-day period. So it'll be chilly for a while, but then those temperatures are going to go right back up to where they should be for this time of year. All part of the three things you need to know tonight. Lows in the lower 40s. High temperatures are only going to get into the 60s More on that in just a moment here. Thursday night and Friday, another weather system with some showers and that cool weekend ahead. It's still in the forecast. Those are the three biggies out of our forecast. 41 for a low tonight in Baraboo, 40 in Camp Douglas, 42 in Madison, 42 in Janesville, and 45 in Platte, or 44 rather. That's actually just dipped down in Platteville. So it is going to be a very chilly start to Thursday morning. If you're heading off to work and school, you're going to need to probably have that jacket on. Dare even say maybe even some gloves for some folks. 63 for a high temperature as we go into Thursday. Average highs are 77, still near 80 degrees. As I mentioned during first weather, it feels like summer was just this long distant thing of the past here, but we will warm back up again. Good chances for scattered showers to that widespread category for some parts of southern Wisconsin with a clipper-like system coming in from the north and from the west. Best chances for those showers are going to be right around 11 o'clock. Dells down to Dodgeville, reaching to Madison, but the more persistent rain is going to be to the north up towards central and northern Wisconsin. It's out of here by the time we get into the early morning hours. We're going to have a strong breeze, though, coming in out of the west. Amounts again, 10th, maybe a quarter of an inch if you're lucky, with the higher amounts again up towards central and northern Wisconsin. Well, we're going to be left with really gusty winds starting off Friday morning, gusting at times to 30, maybe even 40 miles per hour. With that high near 60 and gusty winds, it's certainly going to feel like a fall day with temperatures of only 60, 64 on Saturday, 65 on Sunday. Then we crack into the 70s Monday, going all the way out through the end of the week. And finally, by the time we get to Friday going into Saturday, we're back up to where we would normally see our temperatures this time of year in the mid to upper 70s. And those lows, look at that low later next Friday or Friday night at 58. That low is, again, what our high temperature is going to be in contrast this upcoming Friday. And the Packers forecast against the Lions. Kickoff is at 3:25. Got to get my words going. Here we go. 63 for kickoff. Temperature 64 for that halftime, 62 at the game's end. If you're heading up to Lambeau Field, take the shades with you. Maybe also take a light jacket. It's going to be just a touch on the cooler side. And going even further into September, the Climate Prediction Center is showcasing that much of the center part of the country, and this would include southern Wisconsin, increasing chances, likelihood of being warmer than normal. And we're right in between being wetter than normal and drier than normal. So likely not going to be looking at consistent or big weather systems here as we head out into the middle of September, but certainly looking as though we're going to warm on up. And lastly here, Patricia, thank you so much for sending us this weather photo here of that monarch butterfly. They're probably thinking, it's getting cold, let's head south. That was in Middleton. Thanks, Patricia, for sending us that photo. Eric?
Alex, thank you. And still to come at 5, the Powerball jackpot, over $1 billion now. We'll hear from some Americans trying their luck at taking home the big winnings.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Millions of Americans are crossing their fingers that they will be the lucky winner in tonight's massive Powerball jackpot drawing. The jackpot grew to an estimated $1.4 billion. It's the 4th largest Powerball jackpot ever. No one has won the big prize since May now. And across the U.S., people lined up to buy the $2 tickets in hopes of matching all 6 numbers.
I have no expectations at all, and very rarely ever play the lottery, only when it gets this big.
My uncle told me literally like 15 minutes ago to go buy a ticket. I never played, so I'm just going to try it out today.
People in front of me, people in behind me, all, felt good vibes from them too. So I think somebody's going to win it from this store, but I hope it's me.
Oh, the winner of the $1.4 billion jackpot can opt for payments over nearly 3 decades. Most winners, in fact, I think all of them, have chosen the cash option on the big jackpots, which for this one would be $634 million before taxes. But if you're looking at the take for a single taxpayer in Wisconsin, it's $351 million. The odds of hitting the jackpot are 1 in 292 million. Scientists warn that the rate of species extinctions is accelerating, but the Smithsonian is trying to change that. At a campus in the foothills of Virginia, conservation biologists work with endangered and threatened species like Przewalski's horse. Foals bred here are helping restore the wild horse. And there's also work to reestablish clouded leopards, red pandas, maned wolves, cheetahs, and more.
We're seeing species disappearing at 100 to 1,000 times the normal background rate.
Anytime you take a species completely out of the ecosystem, you cause imbalance in that ecosystem.
Well, the Smithsonian's researchers also work in field stations in more than 30 countries around the world as they try to reestablish the endangered or threatened animals in their native environments. Alex returns next. Final check of the cooler forecast after a short break.
How cattle ranchers in Big Sky country are coming together to keep your food prices down. Our Eye on America takes you to one of the oldest ranches in Montana.
And vaccine confusion as Florida looks to scrap mandates altogether. What you need to know tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6, the Madison Metropolitan School District is sticking with an unweighted grade point average system for high school students. We'll detail why the district decided to not make a change right now. That story and more top of the hour on News 3 Now at 6. Finally tonight, a Florida boy went on an adventure to fulfill his appetite. 5-year-old William made his way to the local Chick-fil-A while his parents were still asleep. Jacksonville, Florida police arrived to find him happily eating breakfast with a manager keeping him company. Now, with a little detective work, officers found his house, hopped the fence to return him to his shocked parents. They said William had let himself out the front door, something he had never even tried before. A few weeks later, the family met the officers at the Chick-fil-A to thank them with some cookies. Must have had a sandwich he liked there at the local Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Alex is back. A final check of the forecast as those temperatures dip.
Yes, dipping down all the way to the lower 40s. Can you believe that? It's crazy. It is. Let's take a look at some of those actual numbers tonight. 40 in Camp Douglas. There could be some isolated areas getting down into the upper 30s. Unprecedented chilliness for the very beginning of September. Highs tomorrow, we're going to struggle to get into the 60s across southern Wisconsin, although we will have a bit of sunshine, and then we will warm up later next week.
So summer's not totally over
Not
just
totally
yet.
gone.
CBS Evening News is next. You can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.